just
But
to suit
do you
everybody.
remember do you remember when that started happening? I do. I'm not sure if you remember when we started having Thanksgiving week off.
When?
When we had the days where the furlough days. Do you remember the furlough days back?
Mhm.
Oh man, I think 2008 to the I want to say around there, right? And I remember they said, "Okay, you guys have Monday, Tuesday off, Thanksgiving week." Because I think we used to have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or maybe we just had Thursday, Friday. I can't remember. But they said, "Okay, Monday, Tuesday, you guys can have off, but we're not going to pay you, right?" Furlough days. I think the first year
Yeah.
we had 9 furlough days. I think the first year. The next year we had like 6 or 7, and then we just kept those 2 days off at Thanksgiving week, and we just had the whole week. I think Wednesday was something else they put in there. So yeah, I mean now we're used to it. So if you take it away, it's gonna be like, what?
Like young emperors, they were born to power and privilege.
He's the son of Hiram Bell, the senior senator from West Virginia.
But if they were to become the leaders of tomorrow,
Great ambition and conquest without contribution is without significance.
Hey there. Welcome to Pod and Deliver. Tonight, Ruben, we're looking at the film Emperor's Club. This is a 2002 film starring Kevin Kline. Actually, this film had a lot of actors. I'm going to go through them all right now, but there were a couple. I will say Emil Hirsch because he's kind of the star of the young people that are in this film. He plays Sedgwick Bow. This film takes place, I want to say it takes place in the early, it says the year, 1970, is it 75, 76? I can't remember the actual year when they were kids, and then it takes you back, takes you like, 25 years later. One when they're young men. Well, they're not young men anymore, but adults. And so you have these two casts, young men at this prestigious boys' school or young men's school, and then them as adults and see where they're at. So the film, Ruben, I'm gonna say right away, I like this film. I'm a big Kevin Kline fan. I don't think I've ever seen anything he did I don't like. I just think he's a good actor. And then of course, like I said, we had a whole mess of great actors from Patrick Dempsey to geez, there were others, Martin Blythe, and so I mean Rob Morrow and so forth. So this film takes place, like I said, in this boys' school, and right away you see this is a school that's been there forever. When my wife saw it, she said, "Oh, this is like a typical Robin Williams film." When he did uh, what's that film called? Dead Poet Society, right? I don't think it was Dead Poet Society. It was placed in a school like that, but it's a different story. This story had to deal with there's a young man who comes into the school, like I said, uh, Emil Hirsch's character, Sedgwick Bow, he comes into the school and you could tell he's a troublemaker. He shows that he just doesn't always follow the rules. And you see that the teacher's trying to get to him, and the teacher's Kevin Kline, right? He plays William Hundert. And Professor Hundert is trying to figure him out and really wants to, I don't know I don't want to use the word save him, but in a way he does. And so you see that relationship, at first, it was just like a lot of times in films, we see in the beginning, the relationship between the teacher and students aren't too well, but as time goes on, they warm up to each other. And so it really deals with um, a area of cheating, right? There's a scene where I think it's called the Emperor's Julius Caesar contest, where one student is chosen as Julius Caesar, the smartest kid in history. It's like world history, not even world history, ancient history, right? And dealing with Rome and ancient Greece topics. And then of course Ken Klein is the teacher who runs this contest. And so you see them really. I don't want to spoil the film, but you see that there's this kid is dealing with cheating, Cedric Bell, but Kevin Kline also is dealing with making some choices that aren't always the best choices regarding letting Cedric Bell um, compete in this contest when somebody else should have. And so I know grading tests and so forth is subjective, but he basically says no to his one boy and lets Sedgwick bow into the contest, right? And so um, And then, of course, things don't go well for Sedgwick Bow, and he doesn't win the contest. But then you go 30 years later, and I won't go to that one, but the professor, which is Kevin Kline, is always kind of figuring him out. But I would say this last thing about it, and I'll let you give me your take. I like the acting. I thought it was great. There was a scene, Ruben, that it stuck to me throughout the film. I was thinking about it was when the father and Kevin Kline, the father of Sedgwick Bow, he's a senator, right? And he called and they have a meeting because Kevin Kline, the professor, he's concerned about Sedgwick Bow. So they meet, and Kevin Kline goes, "Hey, you know what? I'm concerned. I'm help molding him." And the father looks at him and goes, "No, no, no. You don't mold him. I mold him, and you teach him." And I thought, wow, that's true. At the same time, he's not doing very good molding. The father's not molding him, but that's not the teacher's job. So I thought that was a pretty good scene. Are you gonna say something?
So I want to go back to something that you said because it
Yeah.
contributed to how I felt about the film.
Okay.
At one point, you said that the Kevin Kline character, the teacher, said no to a boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did not say no to a boy.
He
What
didn't put it. Yeah, go ahead.
What he did, well, let me explain, because this is an important distinction.
Mhm.
He didn't talk to the boy. He didn't say no to the boy. What he did is he changed the scoring, which was very deceptive.
You're right.
And
He did that.
and he never told the boy until much later, till when nobody cared at that point.
Right.
The damage was done. And when I say that the damage was done, the contest which you described, the Julius Caesar contest, had already passed, and it's been years, and they moved on with their lives.
Yeah.
I say that because this, I'm just going to say, I mean, I'm not going to question your judgment or why you like the film. It's very hard to like a film when you don't like the guy. When
You
don't
mean
like
the professor?
how it was a challenge for me as a viewer to like him because of the multiple things he was doing, including changing the score without telling anybody, including what you just mentioned. I was going to say that's one of the several things when he's telling people, I mold these boys. And the father rightfully said, as you mentioned, as you pointed out, this is not your business to mold my child. I will mold my child. Thank you. Teach my child. Teach
Right.
my student. But also this, Kimberly was right when she was comparing it to Dead Poet Society. It was like, I'm watching this, I'm like, I cannot watch another Dead Poet Society.
They're two different stories, though, no?
The first 30 minutes was very derivative of Dead Poets. I'm sorry, sir. It was. Of course, it's a different story, but I very much it was almost like the history version of Dead Poets. You had an all-boys school. You had a man getting up there and just trying to impress and, get the charges, get them excited, get them ready for the real world, but through the lens of the classics, the Greek classics, Socrates, and so forth, Aristotle, Cicero, and the rest. And then you're right, of course, it's a story that's different. But it's his platitudes. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think.
But can I just say, though, I mean, don't you think, though, that the reason why I liked it is because, yes, with all his mistakes, and he made some mistakes, and regarding with that one young man, you're right, he didn't tell him at first. He told him years later when it was really too late that he should have been chosen, and he was bypassed by him. And so, but don't you think that that's the point of the film, is that he decided to do things right where that other young man was continuing to do wrong?
I know
Mhm.
what they do at the end, and he tries to make it right, and he apologizes to that. I see that. However, it's a challenge to me as a viewer to like him because of these other things that are happening, including he told the M.L. Hirsch character, he really insulted him. And he said, "Stupid is forever." I forget the entire quote, but he basically calls him stupid. And I know you're gonna. It reminded me to say the idea that sometimes as teachers, we're in a situation when we have a student acting out, like this student was acting out, and you're tempted to say something like Kevin Kline's character, who basically says, hey, you know what? I forget his entire quote. I should have written it down. But he says, stupid is forever,
Right.
implying that he's stupid. This kid is stupid. And you need to really put your ego in check and not say things like that to students, because they will remember that. And I say that because that's one of several things that he was doing that make me not like him. I'm sorry, I didn't like him.
I get it. I understand why you didn't like him. I still did like him just because I feel like it was a real character. I mean, it was like, I see people like that, as in I could see educators doing that, focusing on one kid and really forgetting what the rest of the kids. I mean, there's a lot of other boys, and he's focusing on this one quite a bit. He wants to save this one, and where the reality is he's reaching the other ones, and they're going to be doing some great things in their lives, and we forget that. Yeah.
So you agree with me? He's doing something he shouldn't be doing.
No, I agree. I think he blew it, but I think
right,
but you saw that he changed.
It's hard to be in line with him, and I wish, if nothing else, he did more teaching. A lot of it was just lecturing, and because I wanted to like him more, but he didn't do much for me. Right. And then it turned into this real melodramatic ending where this kid comes back, the one who cheated, and then he comes back, and he might have a second round of doing that again. And it just felt like I felt like the writing was two different things going on. Yeah. And maybe
just focus on one.
Say again?
Maybe just focus on the one instead of going later on. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't buy it. Overall, I have to say,
no.
No, that's a no for me.
All right. Well, we disagree. I mean, at the same time, I understand your takes, but that's what makes us different, right? And well, for the audience, you let us know. Take a look at the film Emperor's Club, right, in 2002. I know it's an older film, but I think it's worth watching. Let us know in the comments if you liked it or not. If you agree with Ruben or if you agree with me. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you soon on Pod and Deliver. Have a good night. Bye-bye.